layer styles and options. First of all, I'll drag out again my complete layers palette here and just delete my workspace so you guys have it a bit easier. Okay, so again, on the right hand side, we have our layers palette, and in the middle again, our image. Also, let's start talking now about this layer. It's first of all just a normal pixel layer. I'll quickly type it out for you guys. Pixel layer, there we go. And now on this pixel layer, if I double click onto this layer, I get into the layer styles, also options. So let's do that. Double click on this and right away you'll see a new window pops up. So this is called layer styles. So first of all, in layer styles, you can arrange and you can also add a few more effects here to your certain layer. So again, let's start right away in the top with the blending options. Like I said also in the previous lessons again, that you have a few different techniques to work with your workflow. So you can either choose blending options over here when heading over to the right hand side. You can work with these blending options, or again, right away on the layer in the layers palette, here you can also work with layer blending options. But more about the blending options here in the next lesson. Let's also double click again to get back into the layer styles. And right away on the left hand side here, you guys can see here are a few more options to work with and a few more styles that you can select in order to enhance this certain layer. Again, on the right hand side, you can refine the certain option, and then also on the right side, you can OK this or cancel this. I do not want to go through every single step now, it will take way too long. You can Google about it or check some of our tutorials out, or free tutorials, but I do want to cover one or two quickly here. Say for instance, if we go to color overlay, so color overlay over here, and you select this color overlay, once it's ticked, you will see that already right away our whole layer is covered with a new color. Again, in the middle, you can now choose first of all a blending option for the certain color style or the layer style effect, something like maybe lighten or difference would maybe make a complete difference on your image. If we go further, divide, saturation, etc. You can also go back to normal, so that's just a normal layer, and you can double tap on here in order to change a color now with the color picker. Say for instance, we're going to go to take a really red color here, hit OK, and switch the blending options again to difference. It might look just like this. So you can get some really cool effects with these layer styles. Also, something quickly by the side, which we've mentioned in the previous lesson, you guys can again see now here it's a normal pixel layer, it's visible. Also on the right we see there are some styles active, and down here the effects are active and the color overlay. More about that towards the end of this lesson. Then again, also let's maybe untick this and we go to pattern overlay. We try the same again over here. You have a few blending options. Maybe let's choose difference again. And over here, a few patterns to choose from. Let's select this. It's very weird. I do not work so much with this in retouching. Mostly for design stuff, I work mostly with the layer styles. Okay, then also gradient overlay. You can also add more effects like you can see. Now let's select the color overlay again, the gradient overlay, and we'll first of all select a new gradient over here. Maybe red and green, and also the blending option to difference once again. And then or maybe we just tweak the opacity down. So as you guys can see, here are a few options to just work and refine this small gradient overlay over here. You can also hit the plus button, which means you will double that effect. The same goes again for color overlay, inner shadow, and stroke. But this is only available in Photoshop CC again. All right, let's actually get out of that again. And obviously, you can also save your new styles if you have a certain effect. I'm going to hit OK now. And right away, you guys can see that under my effects here, under the pixel layer, if I minimize this, we won't see it at all. And once you open this, you'll see all the effects. And you'll also see the different type of effects that you've applied to the layer. So you can now say color layer or color overlay should be out, not visible. Then immediately your picture changes again. The same goes for maybe the pattern overlay because it doesn't look so nice. Maybe the color overlay again, or the gradient overlay. That looks kind of weird and really cool. So let's stick with that. Okay, minimize and you can continue. I want to show you guys another effect here. If I'm going to select the text type tool and just make a big selection over here, more about the tools later in the course. I'll just write type again and maybe make this nice and big. Accept it. Take the move tool, move this a little bit down. And now, first of all, you will see on the right hand side again, we have a type layer. Just for all of you to understand it again, type layer. If I double click on this, it will take me back again into the layer styles and the options. So again, in here, you have now a few more options to work with. So it does not matter if you're working with an adjustment layer, if you're working with a shape layer, if you're working with a smart object, type layer, or even a normal pixel layer. Every single layer can have layer styles. Let's maybe in this situation here with the type layer, go to stroke. And right away, you'll see that around the type layer here, I do have a stroke. Again, in the middle, I can now enhance this a bit more, make this really a lot. I can choose from a position, inside, outside, center, or again, outside again. I can change my blending options, maybe to difference once again. Well, one won't see it now. Hard mix, overlay, opacity, all of that stuff. A lot of options to play around with. Even the color, you can switch this also to red. Okay. Change again maybe just to 10 pixels and hit OK. So that effect has been directly applied to the type layer. Double tap on it again and we get back into our layer styles. Again, if you have duplicated in a lot of different layers, you will always see here at the bottom are 2 arrows to move up and down. But I would say play a bit more with this. This is only a learning curve that you can teach yourself. It's basically going in and just playing hours and hours just with different effects here like outer glow. What is the drop shadow? So say for instance, we can actually add this quickly. You'll see it on the type layer is a nice drop shadow now behind the text. There are also a ton of tutorials out there teaching you how to work more with layer styles. But honestly, play a little bit around with this, play a little bit with the different effects like blending, emboss, all of this in order to understand what type of effects you can do in here. Most of these are also used for graphic design, not so much for retouching, but for a graphic design part, this is really nice. I'm going to hit OK, and right away again, you guys can see even under the type layer, we have all our effects listed. So you can easily, quickly change between them.